Sassy Zebra. So I guess this is the start of my health conditions vlog, I suppose, or kind of informational series about me, if that's what you want to call it. I think I'm going to break it down into smaller things. I'm not going to overload this whole thing into one video. That would just be too much and too long. I have way too many health conditions to throw at you guys, and one video that would take hours. So I think I'm going to just start with one, and we'll just shoot one and then kind of go from there. If you guys like it, like and comment, and I will keep doing these. So I will start with the biggest one, and this is kind of the reason for my channel name, the One Sassy Zebra, zebra being the mascot for Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. I have Ehlers Danlos Syndrome Hypermobility type. I was tested genetically to make sure I didn't have any of the other Ehlers Danlos syndromes or Marfan syndrome. And it turns out I do just have the Ehlers Danlos Syndrome Hypermobility type. I have had the symptoms pretty much since I was a baby. I would not crawl. I would just kind of scoot backwards. My hips would kind of just fall outwards. When I was a child, my ankles were very weak. We'd always have to tape them. And my hips would never stay into place. Thankfully, my aunt is a chiropractor, and she's not a normal chiropractor. She does something called DNFT. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that, where she works with the muscles instead of the bones to gently release muscle tension to slide things back into alignment. But she could never get my hips back into place. They would come right back out. So my hips would always sublux. I always had problems with my shoulders subluxing. My ribs progressively gotten worse. My spine always had something called, I have two scoliosis. I have one in the lumbar, which is pretty minimal, but then I have one in the thoracic level that's more moderate, and then I have fairly severe spondylosis, which they started seeing that when I was a teenager, when they started x-raying my back when I was in severe pain. And I was complaining about pain in my back when I hit about 13, and it did not go away, and they couldn't figure out why I was in such bad pain. And I had nerve conduction tests done, and the nerve conduction test showed there was a lot of messed up nerves in my back and my legs and my feet, and they wanted to do back surgery and foot surgery to try to minimize the pain, but then I wouldn't be able to run or dance, which was very important to me at the time. And I was also doing martial arts at the time, but I had no idea about Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. It wasn't actually until last year that I got diagnosed with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. It wasn't until 2017. And the reason why it took so long is one of my other cousins got diagnosed with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, and she asked me if some of the symptoms fit me, and when I started looking up Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, everything fit. The pain and the skin fragility. I mean, my skin isn't as bad as some other people because, like my cousin, she has classical and she has very stretchy skin and fairly fragile skin. Although I bruise easier than her, which is kind of weird. So anyways, yeah, and, but I sublux very easily in both my shoulders, especially my left hip. My right hip will go out, and it's very hard to get back in by myself. My left hip goes in and out constantly, just by standing, or I could be laying down. It's just so very sloppy. I have very bad TMJ. My jaw just clicks just by talking, and it just goes in and out. When I breathe, I can pop my back. And so those are just a few of the things. A couple of the conditions that kind of go with EDS, I'll just briefly touch on them. I can go into more detail on a separate video about these conditions that I do have. I do have POTS, I do have gastroparesis. Those kind of go along with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. So I do have that. I do have difficulty swallowing. I do have GERD. I do have pretty bad migraines. So I do have things like that. And one thing that isn't common for people with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome that I do have is I do have pulmonary hypertension. I do have asthma, and I do have, I am allergic to a lot of things, but so far, I don't know if they didn't do the test right, but when I went to the allergist, he said I do not have mast cell activation syndrome, but they didn't keep the test cold. They actually lost the test, so I don't think they did it right. But anyways, that's for another story and another day. So I don't exactly trust that allergist and the test. But anyways, so that's a bit about me and my Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. I'm still going to a lot of appointments, and it's pretty disabling, and I'm in a lot of physical therapy, and I'm currently not working, and I don't think I will ever be able to work again. It's very disabling. Between my Ehlers Danlos Syndrome and the other health conditions that I have, it's taken me out. Unfortunately, I have lasted as long as I could working, but it's really wiped me out. It's taken everything I could to last as long as I could. But fortunately, at the beginning of this year, my husband told me enough was enough, and with his final say, we ended it. So I'm now just kind of taking care of myself and taking it day by day, and just trying to heal and put the pieces back together as best as I can. So it's a little bit about me, and I will continue doing these series and updating you guys, and I will go into some more of the other health conditions that I have if you guys are interested. And thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment if you guys want, if you guys have any questions, and thanks for watching.